treatment for a knee that is in a bent position. The first provider will stabilize the injured extremity above and below the knee. It is acceptable to reach across the patient as long as you are not off balance and that you're able to maintain control of the patient's leg throughout the splinting process. If not, you will work from the same side as the injury, and the provider applying the splint will need to move around you. Once the injury is stabilized, we will assess circulation, motor, and sensory. If the injury site is not exposed, it will be exposed at this time. The provider will then attempt to place the leg in position of function, which would be straight.
Ouch.
If you meet resistance, hear or feel crepitus, or the patient complains of pain, the leg will be splinted in the position found. You will need 2 padded board splints long enough to extend beyond the mid-calf and the mid-thigh. You will place 1 cravat underneath the patient's knee and bring it up and loop it over top of the leg just to get it out of the way. You will then place 1 board on each side of the patient's leg, again assuring that the padded side is toward the patient. You will then take the cravat that was originally placed underneath the patient's knee, drop it down, wrapping it around both boards and tying them together. It is important to note that the provider holding stabilization is not squeezing the boards together. Squeezing the boards together is an unacceptable technique and should not be used. Once the middle cravat is tied, you will place 2 other cravats underneath of the patient's leg. For this splint, it is best to start at the top. You will bring the cravat up using a one-handed technique. 1 tail will remain on the ground. A longer tail should be brought up, wrapped around the outsides of both boards, brought back across to create an X, and tied to the tail that was left lay. You will then repeat this with the second cravat. You will leave 1 tail lay, bring the long tail up around the outside of both boards, making a cross on top, and then tying it to the other tail. You are now ready to reassess circulation, motor, and sensory.